Have you ever wondered how a simple stream of water could hold mysteries capable of shaking everything we believe in? The Euphrates River, a giant in history and sacred scriptures, is not just a symbol of life. It might be sending us a warning that transcends human understanding. As its waters vanish, we are not merely facing an environmental crisis. We might be witnessing a crucial chapter of prophecies that have echoed for millennia. It's as if every drop that dries up tells a story, and its outcome could change the course of humanity. Think with me. What does it mean when a river so vital to ancient civilizations and so laden with spiritual symbolism begins to disappear? We're not just talking about geography or history. We're talking about something that connects the earthly and the divine, science and faith, the past and the future. Does it seem like an exaggeration? Perhaps. But what if it isn't? What if the Euphrates is a sign, a reminder that greater forces are at work, calling us to understand what is to come? Get ready for a journey that will challenge the obvious. Because when history, science, and spirituality meet, the result is not just learning but an awakening. What is happening to the Euphrates River is not just an event. It is an opportunity to see beyond what the eyes can perceive. Are you ready to face the answers it has to offer, or, better yet, to ask the right questions? The Euphrates River, oh, what a witness to human history. From the pages of Genesis to archaeological records, it has stood as a true pillar of ancient civilizations. Just imagine, its banks nourished the roots of empires and cultures that shaped the world. It's no exaggeration to say that without the Euphrates, many of humanity's great narratives might not have occurred. It's like that essential friend who, even without drawing attention, sustains everything around them. Over the centuries, the Euphrates has been more than a resource. It was a promise of life, as in the fertile lands of Mesopotamia, and a spiritual promise, mentioned as one of the rivers of the Garden of Eden. This duality between the sacred and the practical made it unique. For example, did you know that the river also served as a boundary for Abraham's promised land? A powerful connection between faith and geography. Today, as we revisit the Euphrates past, we realize how vital it was for human development. From being a trade route to inspiring legends and religions, it is more than a river. It is a symbol. But, like everything in life, symbols also face challenges, and the Euphrates is no exception. Therefore, reflecting on its historical importance leads us to consider what the future holds for it. The crisis that has gripped the Euphrates River in recent years is a clear warning of what happens when nature loses its harmony. Day by day, the waters that once supported millions of people are disappearing, leaving behind arid lands and uncertainties. It's almost like watching a giant, once majestic, slowly wither. This drought affects not only agriculture but also energy generation and water supply for entire communities. The causes are varied, but all carry a tragic weight. Poor water management by the governments sharing the river is a critical factor. Meanwhile, the climate, with increasingly scarce and irregular rainfall, exacerbates the problem. Imagine a family in Iraq that depends on the Euphrates to irrigate their crops, only to find its bed dry at the start of the harvest season. An impact that multiplies on a large scale. The situation is alarming, but it's not the end yet. Scientists and environmentalists discuss solutions, such as integrated resource management and the preservation of key areas. And you? Have you thought about how small actions like using water responsibly can lead to bigger changes? After all, every drop counts. But this issue goes beyond individual actions. It also involves governmental and international decisions. The drought of the Euphrates River is not just a natural phenomenon. It's a warning, almost a silent cry from the earth. Each passing year, its waters diminish, and with them, the hopes of millions of people. Imagine living in a place where the river, once the pulsating heart of life, now turns into a dry, lifeless bed. This is what has been happening in countries like Turkey, Syria, and Iraq, where water shortages affect entire crops and leave entire communities vulnerable. This drought is not just the work of the climate. Oh, if only it were that simple. Poor political management and disputes over resources are as much to blame as the lack of rain. For example, tell me, How do we resolve the dilemma when governments prefer to build dams that dry up rivers in the long run rather than seek sustainable solutions? It's the dilemma of profit now versus a future tomorrow. Ordinary people, like farmers who depend on the Euphrates to irrigate their fields, already feel the weight of this decision in their wallets and on their plates. And here's the point that cuts the deepest. The impact is not just ecological, it's human. Imagine entire families who, for generations, lived along the river now facing the need to migrate. It's like watching a piece of history disappear while you watch helplessly. But could there be something deeper that this drought is trying to teach us? When we look at the Euphrates River through the lens of sacred scriptures, it becomes more than a watercourse. It is a stage for prophetic events. In the book of Revelation, it is mentioned as a crucial marker in the events of the end times. Just imagine such an ancient river, now associated with the release of fallen angels and the final battle between good and evil. It's no surprise that so many people see its drying up as a sign of the times. The religious interpretation of these prophecies raises fascinating questions. Are we really witnessing something beyond science and politics? For instance, some believe that the drying waters are preparing the way for armies to march toward Armageddon, as mentioned in the scriptures. It's almost like watching a divine script unfold before our eyes, with every drop of water disappearing from the Euphrates carrying deep spiritual meaning. But at the same time, it's intriguing how the prophecies leave room for reflection. After all, what really determines the fulfillment of these words? Is it the natural course of events, or is it the human interpretation we give them? While some see the drought as a warning, others see it as an opportunity to reconnect with something greater. What if this is the true message the Euphrates is trying to convey? The conspiracy theories. The Euphrates River has not escaped becoming an epicenter of intriguing speculations. Recently, mysterious videos have gone viral, suggesting that eerie sounds echoed from the river's dry areas. For some, these noises are the cries of the imprisoned angels mentioned in Revelation. Frightening, isn't it? But between the mystical and the rational, scientists raise practical questions. Could these sounds have a geological or environmental explanation? The river's desertification also fuels suspicions that are more political than spiritual. Some believe that local governments are deliberately letting the Euphrates dry up, perhaps to manipulate the region's geopolitics. Although these theories may sound exaggerated, the history of poor water management and international disputes lends some credibility to the idea. Think, who benefits from such a vital resource disappearing? The answer, or the lack of it, leaves room for much speculation. The psychological impact of these theories is real. People not only face drought, but also the fear of the unknown. This mix of science, religion, and conspiracy turns the Euphrates into a theme that stirs both emotions and reason. Could these mysteries and risks point to something we do not yet fully understand? Even in the face of such challenging scenarios, there is always a thread of hope connecting us to what truly matters. In the case of the Euphrates River, the scriptures offer comforting certainty. Good always prevails. The river's drought, as alarming as it may be, is seen by many as part of a greater plan. In this context, the message is clear. Maintain faith and live in alignment with divine teachings. Think about the power of individual choice. While governments debate policies and theorists discuss conspiracies, each person has the opportunity to seek spiritual peace and practice kindness. Perhaps the Euphrates drought is a symbolic reminder that we must reconnect with the essentials, both in our faith and in our actions. Practical examples: helping those suffering from water crises, supporting environmental NGOs, or simply dedicating moments to meditation and prayer. What becomes clear is that we do not need to fear the unknown. The Euphrates River may be drying up, but the promises of hope and renewal remain. The focus should be on building a life based on love and solidarity, preparing for challenges with serenity. After all, if there is one certainty, it's that good always finds a way to shine, even in the darkest moments. What the Euphrates River reveals to us is more than the story of a river in crisis. It is a call to reflection, action, and faith. Every fact, every prophecy, every consequence we discuss points to an undeniable truth. The future does not wait for those who remain oblivious. Now is the time to ask ourselves, are we ready to understand and face the challenges this scenario presents to us? Or will we continue to ignore the signs already before us? So, what will you do with all this knowledge? Perhaps you can start with something simple, like learning more about the environmental impact in your community, getting involved in preservation initiatives, or even exploring the spiritual teachings we've discussed. The question is, are you ready to act, to change, to grow? Because the Euphrates reminds us that time waits for no one, and life is made of choices, even the ones that seem small. If this content made you think, don't stop here. Subscribe to the channel and activate notifications to keep learning about topics like this. Let's transform curiosity into knowledge and knowledge into action together. After all, what you discover can change everything, if you allow it.